Welcome to episode 49 of the Global Exclusive Podcast. I'm your host, Hazard, and I'm being held against my will by Baros, Cotton, Dream, Muspel, and Shadowwalker. Nice to see you guys.
He came back.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you back.
It took you so long to get milk, Dad.
Hazard, did you hear that there's an event that features Mercenary Ramsa?
Did you hear that Gumi ran out of time before they could answer the question of whether they could do CG FFBE units?
It's just that there was too much detailed info for them to go over in the stream. That's what it must have been. They're clearly planning something. They just didn't feel like they could fit it into a 2-hour stream.
They were too busy spending 10 minutes talking about Ibarra.
And I mean, Delita is meta now, so it has to mean something.
Nothing's changed.
One day, we will get Hazard back one day, okay? It will be in a year's time, but he will come back.
So for those that haven't heard, this is going to be a live episode. This is, obviously people who are listening right now know that, but for the ones that are listening to the recording, we had planned to do a live episode for our 50th or 52nd episode, but as Dream said, Gumi forced our hand by doing nothing, so instead of talking about the new units this week, because there aren't any, we're going to do a live Q&A session.
Well, yeah, and a bunch of other stuff.
Why did Gumi choose this week out of all the weeks to go AWOL? I guess it's because of the New Year's. That's the easy explanation.
Yeah. They want a break for Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, I'd like to have new content, but it's not unreasonable if they're going to have a week off to do it over the holidays.
It makes super sense.
At the same time, they've never done this before, right?
They still queued up a bit of stuff for us to do.
Yeah.
We've had dead weeks once in a while. It's very rare, and it's been a while since we had one. But especially with the pandemic, it could just be that they figured they would have a dead week somewhere. Might as well do it around this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's only a dead week because we don't have a banner or new banner units this week. We do have content.
So I think it's been a dead week ever since the week after the Ultima and Beowulf banner stopped being on.
I got my first Beowulf STMR just the other day, rocking it on my newly shittered. The fuck is the unit's name again? Eldrin?
Eldrin.
Baros, if you don't even know the unit's name,
no, I know the unit's name. I was just afraid you all were gonna ridicule me for my bullshit pronunciation, okay? But
Baros, when do we do that? We're on very nice people.
We have plenty of other things to ridicule you about.
Eldritch?
Yeah, like my tiny penis. I know, Dream.
You're already making Hazard regret coming back.
Yes.
Oh, I did this with
loves the
eyes
podcast.
wide open, I promise you.
Yeah, just hey Hazard, I just want to check, is your kid listening? Because
Nope, I've supplied him with pizza, a train set, and a movie at the same time, hoping that all three will take over parenting responsibilities for me.
Nice, good.
Smart move.
Because I don't want to hear, Yeah.
Is this mom approved, or is this Dad's way of just
Listen, do you want me here or not? Stop asking questions.
Shadow.
It's heck, that'd keep me occupied.
Hazard, we love you. This is just our way of showing our love.
No, it's the type of shit what my dad would do, and then my mom would come home and she'd be angry at my dad for doing. So I'm just saying.
All right, so hey, so we actually do have a plan for today. And Hazard, you don't know the plan. Do you want me, to send you the agenda? How do you want to play it?
Well, you guys did say you're doing a live Q&A, so I will answer almost anything, unless it's from Baros. But if you guys have an agenda, go for it. Let me know what it is and what you guys want to do.
Yeah, sure. So we actually thought that we were going to spend a bit of time on this dead week to actually talk about future stuff that's coming up. And that I think can be pretty fun. I mean, especially in this Discord, or in our Discord, for everyone that's not here listening. We do talk a lot about the future and JP. We have a lot of hardcore JP players, of course, in the Discord. It could be fun talking about stuff that's upcoming. So some of the things we thought we were going to talk about is the EX2 upgrades, or the EX2 abilities that are about to come out, or should. I mean, who knows? We're also going to talk a bit about the new units coming up and the tag chainer mechanic. Just talk a bit about that. Do some future enhancements, stuff to look forward to, what future enhancements are coming, and then kind of round up with, hey, what units are we all looking forward to? And then, of course, chat, please do help out and tell us what units you're also looking forward to. So yeah, shit. Should we get started?
Go for it.
Forge ahead, my friends.
All
Forge
right.
ahead.
So first thing, I took upon me the first thing about the EX2 abilities, only because I have most of these gimped ass NVs, and I'm kind of, hoping for a light in the tunnel. So I thought we were gonna do this like this. So I don't know how well versed the rest of you here are on the EX2 abilities, but I'm thinking I'm gonna introduce the EX2 abilities for every unit that comes up, and then everyone gets to have their say on, hey, will this unit have a place in the meta, or will it just still be shit? And chat, please jump in, let us know what you think. All right, so the first unit I'm going to start off with is the unit that will not leave me the fuck alone. It alone proves that I'm the biggest Final Fantasy VII fan in the world, because I have 15 NV Clouds or something, and NV Cloud gets EX2 abilities. And EX2 abilities, just quickly, just to tell you what it is, it's just what it sounds like. If you have a unit on EX2, they gain new abilities, mostly passives, sometimes also even active abilities. So, Cloud gets, first of all, he gets the same as many other units. He gets a bit more damage by just getting 300 flat attack. That's pretty nice. It's pretty decent. He's already a unit with a lot of attack if you gear him for EP, so he can have an even bigger EP. Imagine Cloud with a really big P.
Moving on, Barros.
And but then he does get some mods, they are mostly useless. He does get some mod increases on his imbue, on his finisher type move. That's not that bad. I guess it goes up to 120 on his finisher move. And he does get some mod boosts on his CD. That's not really relevant. But
okay, so just to clarify something, the way you get EX2 abilities is literally by getting the unit to EX2.
Yeah, but that's what I said, Cotton. Are you not listening to the podcast that you're recording?
I don't know. I'm just answering the chat, Barros.
Oh shit, there was a chat question? Oh, okay, nice. Thank you, Cotton.
So what it means is chat isn't listening. Gosh,
yeah,
guys.
Chat, are you not
together.
listening to the podcast?
Apparently not. Or maybe I'm just not listening to Barros.
That's called active laziness. Is coming all the way here to listen to the podcast just to not listen to the podcast.
No, yeah, come all the way just to type in chat. That's the best type of interaction.
The biggest thing that Cloud
Buzzpill, calm the fuck down. I'm coming to it. I'm building up to it, right? So he got a lot of worthless stuff, but he does get one really, really big thing. He gets an LB upgrade, which is, I think, actually all units get no, not all. All but one unit get an LB upgrade. Cloud gets a huge LB. He gets a single target 140x LB, but also a 35% Greatsword Imperial on it. Meaning he's gonna hit hard. Really hard.
I believe it's the biggest weapon in Peril to this day. I guess Realm also has. Does she have 35 or 30%?
Yeah, hers is 35 as well, so...
35? Oh shit, I thought it was 25.
But weapon Imperials now are the newest vogue thing from JP. If you want the unit to be good or at least relevant, you slap a weapon Imperial on them.
Alright, so I've told you a bunch of stuff about what Cloud is getting. What's the feeling like? Is Cloud gonna be good? Is he gonna be bad? What does chat think? What do you hosts think?
I have not really looked at the JP damage sheets. Last I recall, with EX2 abilities, he was fairly competitive, but I think that's without considering the fact that a lot of the more recent units in JP have the Breaker Killer thing, which does extra damage against enemies with an empty break gauge.
Right, but this is considerable amount of damage, right? Just 140x LB on a unit that already did a lot of damage. It's upgrading everything, right?
His LB mod hasn't increased much, so his damage will get a decent boost from the Imperial and the extra attack and stuff. I don't think his damage by itself will be super amazing when it arrives, but the fact that strong Greatsword Imperial can also give big damage boosts to other physical units will definitely net him a spot in a lot of PV teams and stuff.
And especially because Greatsword is a pretty common weapon type on a lot of units.
Yeah, even Tifa sometimes uses Equip Large Sword to get NV or AC Cloud's STMR, so even she'll be able to use it.
Yeah, although you need to dual wield two of them to get the full benefit.
Yeah, that's true, and you don't want to do that with Tifa. True.
It's also not necessarily ideal for TDH units because two-handed Greatswords tend to not have the best variance, but with a 35% Imperial, it'll probably be worth it anyways. Yeah. It's just not as good as a gun Imperial would be.
And would you still be using
we need
Tifa
a gun
then
Imperial.
Anyway? You'll have way better finishes by then, I guess. like Cloud?
I actually saw a list of a damage list, and like Cloud is swinging big. I think he was like top 5 or something.
But whose damage sheet are we referring to? You gotta understand.
Yeah, I actually don't know. It was a JP damage sheet that someone pasted in Discord the other day, but I don't know who it was.
Probably
I think Cloud tends to do very well on those kinds of comparison sheets because he has a weapon imperil and most units don't, and basically nobody uses external weapon imperils in comparison sheets.
Right. Okay, yeah, makes sense. I mean, it is 35% extra damage. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's move on.
So
that was Cloud.
We've now got through one of the 6 EX2
Sorry, I'm not gonna...
units.
Let's do them
speed it
faster.
up a little.
This is probably also the only interesting unit of the 6, spoiler alert. But, so let's move on. Okay, next one. Envy Rain. Rain, Neovision, gets also some upgrades. He gets an auto LB, finally, so he gets full LB on the first turn of the fight. In Brave Shift, he gets some mods as well, like everyone else. He does get like a tiny increase on Ashblade in shift form, and a mod increase on his Grandis. He does get an LB upgrade though, and his LB goes to 65x 50% defense ignore, so 130x chaining LB, and a whopping 135% fire imperil. But
would that be the highest Imperial in game at the moment?
Several
Imperials
units
go
have
higher than
135. Or we're gonna get to more 135 as we move on into this list, Cotton. I can tell you that. But yeah. Anyway, where were we? Right. So what do you think? Like, will this help Rain? I mean, Rain is more this supportive support chainer damage dealer, right? Getting this really fat LB chain, is that gonna help him much?
I think the biggest problem with it is that the imperil happens after the damage. So his own burst won't benefit from it in Dark Visions unless you manage to like make him LB multiple times before it expires, which can be tricky. I guess he can shift on the first turn and use it, and then he can use his cooldown to buff his LB and then use it again. So it's not
because it is a 4-turn imperil, so it does last.
Yeah, it's not like it's not something you can do, but it's at least a little bit clunkier than I might like.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not even sure this helps, right? Like, is he gonna do damage, or is this just a tiny bump?
I mean he already bursts fairly hard by NV standards. I think he's like 60 or 70% of Tifa's burst.
Hey, we're training Cotton, actually. This is interesting. Cotton can't get to speak. Wow, never seen this happen before.
I mean, the way I would use Rain is more, with those buffs, is more as a support unit for DV, I guess. Since it does what? Fire Imbue to the team, Fire Amp, and now 135% Fire Imperial.
Yeah, he'll support fire teams a little better, but I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's much of an improvement, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really chain with his LB either. I mean, it's Extreme Nova, so...
His existing stuff is still pretty good, though.
Zon's limit burst is Extreme Nova.
Yeah, that's actually true. You could do... like, you could chain
you
with
could
Zon.
also just probably slam him into an AR chain or something.
Yeah, like an LB finisher. Yeah, probably. I mean, he does have like decent LB buffs in his shift form already, so that's nice. All right, but we do need to move on. So then, of course, we have the best unit in the game, and she just got better. And I'm, of course, talking about Aerith from Final Fantasy VII Remake, Envy Aerith.
Barros, how many Aeriths do you have now?
So that's an interesting question. I actually think there's only 2 NVs in the game I don't have. Physalis and Aerith. I've gotten every other, so yeah. 0.
Is it just me, or does Aerith's upgraded LB get worse in some ways?
Well, it does. Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. So her LB goes from what it is today, which is kind of like this staggered heal LB that kind of keeps your party alive for a number of turns. It goes to being a flat heal, curing all ailments, and adding a 5-turn all ailment resist buff and a 30% flat MP restoration. So it does give her what she doesn't have right now, which is all ailment resistance, right? That's nice. But
yeah,
is
the
it
problem
enough?
is still she can't fill her LB right away, and a lot of the times when you need that stuff, you need it right away.
Exactly. It's 32 cost, so like getting it at turn 1, I mean that requires support, heavy support.
She can probably get it turn 2 with minimal trouble, but just by using her cooldown. So it's not the end of the world, but it's still not making her a great healer, just a much better one than she is right now.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, of course, this is her healer form did get this buff where you do get this ailment resist buff on her LB. In Brave Shift, she got a whopping 500 static magic, a base 100% LB damage, some minor ability mods up. Well, not minor actually. 20x on her finisher moves, so they go up to being 100x moves, nukes, I think. Even though I think they are too slow to be woven into normal chains, like if you do 4 of them. But she does get...
The only notable thing here really is the extra flat magic, which is going to boost her damage significantly, but I still don't think she's anywhere near competitive.
Yeah, I mean, she already does what, like, her and Saul are about on par. So 500 mag, not going to do a whole lot, I guess.
Yeah.
A shame. They did her dirty, and I still can't get her for the life of me. Jesus Christ.
Alright, shall we move on to the more interesting unit?
There are no more interesting units.
Yes, there is.
Okay, alright. Let's move on to Envy Axstar. So, Awakened Dragon Axstar, right? Also got some EX2 abilities. In his normal form, he got 100% damage to dragons, so killer, and auto LB. That's very nice. I like seeing these auto LBs as EX2 abilities. That's super cool.
I mean, the fact that their EX2 abilities instead of included on the unit's base form can be a bit annoying though.
Yeah, but it's also like this extra candy, right? If you go hard for a unit and you get their EX2, you get this additional candy of, getting the LB. I could see this being like a mechanic for Envies in general, where it's just nice to have the LB on turn 1 if you have the EX2.
Or they could just give the LB on turn 1 on the base form of the unit.
Like no, you're gonna have to pay 20k lapis first. Sorry, Cotton. Okay, so what does he get? Well, I mean, of course, 100% damage dragons, that's nice, but what he does get in his Brave Shift form is actually 150% flat LB damage, and his LB gets upgraded, so it's a 5x plus 150x physical damage nuke with a 5-turn 135% Ice Imperil. So quite a strong LB, 155x LB. And his chaining ability in Brave Shift form goes up to 95x. So that I mean, I don't know the JP meta, so I don't know how much 95x is JP wise, but sounds decent.
Alright,
Yeah.
so don't mind if I take over the last 2 barrels?
Yeah. I mean, the problem with Axter is he's still, in his Brave Shift, a true dual-wield unit with no chain cap increase. So
Yeah. I guess that's a shame. That would have been a great upgrade for him, though. And it wouldn't have been overpowered in any way either, because, yeah. But you can go ahead, Cotton. Please do.
Go ahead.
Did you want to do the last 2? No?
Yep. Alright, so the next 2 unit with EX2 upgrade would be Soul, who on his normal form, for some reason, gets a non-elemental Aerial Ray Chain. Who uses non-elemental damage now? Like, if
It
you
could
hit
be
high
useful.
mods, like...
I think it's for Arena. That's honestly the only idea I have, but I think he would use his other move for that anyways.
yeah, he already has a better arena move.
Yeah.
But
You
Cotton,
would
I
rather
know,
use
I
his
know
Mystic
who,
Cross move because it does
I
like
know who
3
uses
different
non-elemental
stacks of
damage.
damage.
The other
So I
potential
don't
use
get
for it, I guess, is
it.
Dark Visions for chain count, but
Yeah.
we're really reaching at straws here.
Yeah. I mean, that's not his big upgrade, though.
No, his big upgrade is he becomes an ice damage limit burst nuker. He gets another 135% ice imperial. But I mean, if you rather use an ice, if you have an ice imperial, wouldn't you rather use X-Star instead?
Well, I mean, not on a magic stage in DV.
Yeah, true.
The problem is he still doesn't have much LB damage. He has 150% passive and a 50% buff, and that's it. And most
Oof.
units that are like the big LB damage dealers have 250% buffs, which is more than he gets from his entire kit combined. And then they also have like 100 or 50 or 200% from passives or something like that.
Hey, losers, there's finally something interesting Tomato brought up. Do we expect to get the EX2 upgrades in the same way, or do you think Gumi will find a globally exclusive creative way to fuck us over? Hey?
Well, I don't
Hey?
really see... I mean,
Yes.
it's a good question, but I don't really see a reason to fuck us on it, to be honest, because already it's a quite exclusive...
There was no
thing, right?
reason for them to fuck us on the SBB buffs either, let's be honest here.
Well, the viewer suggested what I was about to say, which is that I think they're going to cost latent points. That's how they're going to bring back latents.
You think so? Okay. Interesting.
That's a interesting way to do it.
Interesting point, or interesting thought, could be. I mean, I don't think they're gonna fuck us as in we're not gonna get them. I doubt that, because none of these units that we haven't gone through all of them, only one of them gets something really significant, and the rest of them are just, minor upgrades to units that were already out of the meta.
And not necessarily for the last one. I mean,
Yeah.
the last you need to get EX2 upgrade is Gabran. Is he still the only NV physical tank in JP?
Does
Snow's
Snow do
there.
physical as well? I forget if he's both or just magic.
Yeah, Snow has both. Snow has
Snow's
both.
physical.
Yeah.
But he's one of the rare few NV physical tanks. He basically gets a lot tankier.
Yeah, the big thing for him is he has a passive which gives him 500 extra defense and 3,000 extra health, and he auto-casts a 3k barrier every single turn.
Which is huge. Well, I think the auto LB is very nice too. Like, he does get his LB turn 1 now, which is also nice.
Yeah, and then I think he gets some stuff in his Brave Shift, but who cares?
What he gets? No, he doesn't actually get any. This is shared. He gets
okay.
auto LB and 3k HP, 500 defense, and the 3k barrier in both forms. That's the same.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
so
that
he
you're
becomes
gonna
even
use his Brave
tankier.
Shift.
I mean, he was already really fucking thick, and now he gets thickerer.
You can just hear
And so
Muspel's.
does Muspel when thinking about it.
Muspel, how do you
Thinking
feel
about
about
it.
this?
Are you touching yourself right now, Muspel? Let us know.
Oh my god, Dream, that just came out of nowhere. That's why we like you.
Yeah.
It's like if
No other reason.
if Barrels was actually funny, it'd be Dream. So
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I wish I was Dream, actually. I would also have this sexy accent.
And now this is where it gets weird.
Can we move on?
we should do
Yeah,
a
sure.
Q&A segment because
Yeah.
this has been very, very boring.
Well, very boring for someone that doesn't play the game, Shadow. Shut the fuck up.
Chat,
I'm
ask
super
away.
excited about the EX2 abilities.
Yes, chat, hit us with your best questions that Barrows would not approve of.
Let's
What's
do
your
Red
favorite
Ash.
Final Fantasy music?
Yeah,
Says Red Ash. Oh, sorry, I did. Yeah.
same thing.
If you
but,
say some shit from Final Fantasy 12, I will slap you in the mouth.
Hang on, let's state the question a little clearer. The question was, what's your favorite Final Fantasy music?
The Chocobo Waltz is very earwormy.
I don't
So,
know
yeah.
what Hazard is doing right now.
Hazard is
There-
making ominous sounds.
I'm making sounds.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
It
like
you are.
sounded like.
it sounded like a whale song.
Oh, probably a truck driving by my house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I also heard creepy siren music. Flat. That's what I heard too. I was afraid.
All right, I've actually got a
my
couple
favorite-
answers for this, unless Shadow
Yeah,
wants
me
to
too.
go first.
No, Hazard, go for it.
So, okay, I actually think the Final Fantasy VII normal battle music is a brilliant track. I think it's always kind of hypes you up. But I really like a couple tracks in Final Fantasy IX, specifically "Not Alone," which is a song that they play for Zidane when he's kind of like going through a rough time. And I don't know, it's really just a very well done and very different kind of music. And also "The Rose of May," which is Beatrix's theme song in Final Fantasy IX. Those are really, really good. And obviously, Battle on the Bridge from not Final Fantasy V, but Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my favorite battle of the musics as well. Oh, Melodies of Life from 9. That one's really good too. Yeah. 9 has a really good soundtrack, for sure.
I completely agree. 9 has a really fantastic soundtrack. I was gonna say that like a lot of 9 is probably my favorite, just because it feels like it's the most unique songs of the FF series. But also, this might be a bit cheating, but like the Dissidia Final Fantasy original soundtrack, like the original Dissidia, the PSP Dissidia soundtrack, is amazing because it's a compilation of some of the best theme songs from all of 1 through 10, and it has remixes of one soundtrack, which I think is like a fantastic representation, because 1's original soundtrack was all in this 8-bit noise, but now it's like in this fantastic piano and orchestral sound. And I think honestly Dissidia Final Fantasy's original soundtrack is being undervalued by the community, because it has some of the best remixes of all our favorite songs.
I mean, listen,
And one of my
is it being
favorites-
undervalued, or is it just that nobody has ever fucking listened to it?
I don't know. I think Dissidia is one of those games where a lot of Final Fantasy fans played it, but they never really cared for the soundtrack because a lot of them were just remixes of old songs. But these remixes are really, really good. So I love that. And the other one that I really like is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
I like the Crystal Chronicles
Chronicles. What
soundtrack
the
aside from the
fuck?
fucking world map music.
Yeah, I think the world map music gets tired because we're on it so often, but
Yeah.
otherwise the Crystal Chronicles soundtrack is actually really, really good, despite it being a pretty mediocre game in my opinion. There we go.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
I mean, as much as I rage about Final Fantasy 15 as a game, Yokoshima, the soundtrack there is actually really, really good. So there's
I
that.
can't disagree.
I mean, I'm A, bad at favorites, and B, haven't listened to tons, but one that I remember just like hearing in FFB and liking a lot was, I think it was the like Final Fantasy 14 Garuda music from that raid, and just like the first 30 seconds of that were really cool.
Very specific.
Do we want to move on to the next question?
No, Muspel, you haven't answered yet.
Oh, I've actually played very few Final Fantasy games with the sound on because I mostly played like the Game Boy Advance remakes, and I kept the sound off to save the battery. I played 7 with the sound on, and 10 and 12, and I don't really remember 10 or 12 soundtracks that well. So I guess I like the 7 battle theme and the 7 Chocobo song.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna simp for Final Fantasy 6 because okay, this is so difficult because like every Final Fantasy song that I hear is nostalgic. Like it makes me remember the times I spent as a kid playing these games. So I can't really say a favorite, but it's gonna be from Final Fantasy 6, and I do think like Terra's theme is amazing because it gives me the goosebumps, right? But I also like, I don't know what it's called. I mean, obviously opera scene is fucking amazing as well, obviously. But I don't know what it's called, but it's probably Dancing Mad. Yes, it is Dancing Mad.
Clown?
Yes, Dancing Mad.
Oh, okay.
Very good one. Don't you guys just love Gao's the music when you're on the Veld? You know, what are you doing with like having him jump onto enemies or jump or whatever he does?
I fucking hum that song to myself on a weekly basis. Easy. Like I'm not even kidding you. I do that. I go like boom 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 boom, and I like walk around the house doing that. This is what I do.
It's funny.
Yeah,
'cause
but I hate-
6 was so repeatable. Like they'd have this 30-second clip and it would just keep going over and over. So if you spent more than like 5 minutes in an area, you were sick of it. But it was
Exactly.
very,
Yeah,
very.
that was the problem with the
Yeah.
Crystal Chronicles world map music too. Fine in a vacuum, but when you have to listen to it for like 10 or 15 minutes at a time, it's awful.
All right, I think we've
man.
spent enough time on the music here. So we had another question about DV, and I think it was, let's see, Legend Forsaken. What do you guys think about the rapid power creep of Dark Visions? This month is almost twice as tanky as the last month, and assume it's going to be something similar going forward. So this is one I can't really answer, but I hate DV, suck at DV, I hate you forever.
It means that we are not supposed to have so many rank 1s in DV, and Gami is trying very hard to fix that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
This power creep isn't really anything new. Like, Odin was nearly twice as tanky as Alexander. I think Alexander was probably nearly twice as tanky as the one before him. Let me check.
No, but I mean,
Maybe it's more about the GL buffs to it. And I think those are probably kind of good, because, yeah, it's like, people aren't supposed to get perfect scores. That's the thing.
yeah. So this is
And,
kind of
I
them
mean, the
trying
fact
to
that
fix
people
it.
still are means they haven't buffed it enough.
Yeah. No, true.
As long as it can still be cleared, though, reasonably. Like, I think if they buff the one in a couple DVs, the Dark Kokuryu, it might be a significant issue.
So I just checked. We're on Dark Visions 9 now. It looks like 7, 8, and 9 were all like 70 to 80% tankier than the one before them. That's just based on defense and spirit, not counting any other aspects of the fight.
Right. And we got some extra buffs on top of that, thanks to GL being GL.
No,
but-
that's including.
Oh, that's accounting for it. Okay. All right. Yeah, but I mean, like, we're soon getting DV without cap, so that you don't have to compete by capping. You instead compete by doing max damage. So that kind of
Yeah, and that kind of solves the problem.
it solves the problem
but
and
it's
balances it a
still
bit as
away.
well, because like now you can get extra score for going beyond the cap on fights on some fights and going below it on others, kind of. So it's nice. But I don't think it's so bad. Like, the thing is, this is kind of the theme of FFBE design, where they're really pushing hard to make every unit on a banner be OP for something. And that's the same with DV. So I guess, like, they're just getting tankier, and then we're getting the key solution in the banner just before it.
We have missed a lot of questions because we're spending a lot of time on each question. So we apologize beforehand if we miss your question.
There's a question here. Do you think there's a sweet spot between buffing enough to stop capping, but preventing less geared people from clearing it all? I guess I haven't ever really tried to do slow clears of these bosses. Their mechanics aren't that complicated. I don't think it's that much of an issue for casuals to just clear the bosses. If your score will probably be terrible because you'll take damage, but if you're not a whale and you're not capping, your score doesn't make that much of a difference anyways. You might get like an extra EX ticket or two, but it's not like you're seeing massive swings in rewards. Just clearing the fights is usually enough to get all the milestone rewards.
See, so I know I haven't done this for a while, but my solution before, and it's kind of what I just entered in chat here, is if they change Dark Visions to be a permanent event where you could do it at your own leisure, and so if you can't cap or you can't do something now, you can do it a month from now when you've got better units or better strategies or whatever. Do it on your own timeline and not make it a player versus player competition. Just make it individual rewards are, gated behind certain scores. I think that would remove a lot of those issues, but that's just me.
Yeah, but that would also, bring the problem of, well, the banner after DV is probably going to break previous DV, right? Make it trivial.
The thing you have to keep in mind is that the point of Dark Visions, from Alan and Gumi's point of view, is to sell units. They want whales to feel like they have to pull. So
specifically for more damage.
So
dealers.
anything, like any solution that makes it less profitable for them is probably never going to happen.
That's true. Yeah, that's probably the number one reason they won't do that. But I think it would improve the playability of Dark Visions.
Mm. No, I mean, it would definitely be like if there was a middle ground where it's a competition, but then when the competition is over, it becomes this endless battle or this battle that you can do on your own time and still get many of the rewards or all of them. That would kind of be a nice trade-off.
I mean, just clearing it usually gets you pretty good rewards, and you have 2 weeks to do it, and the fights are all very easy mechanically. Like, they use a couple elemental AoEs, and that's it. They're really not hard to clear.
All right, I need to...
There's 2 weeks to do it, which is why I only did the easy stages yesterday.
Nice. So I want to do this question. This is kind of like a hashtag global help question almost, but Dart Arfina is wondering, saying, I played the game for 2 months and my Ibarra can't cap on DV. Is this normal or am I dumb? Yes, as in he is dumb.
Yes, that's normal. Ibarra can cap the easier magic stages. The harder ones, absolutely not. That takes a lot of stuff.
I mean, Ibarra is a really bad example here because she needs to gear for LB, and that's not gear you get in 2 months of playing.
Yeah, that too. She's pretty rough for new players.
She has no innate LB.
Like you cannot, like Ibarra, you cannot unlock her power unless you have like some really nice STMRs or at least really strong TMRs to help her out. So,
no, it's more like Ibarra is very reliant on a few specific STMRs or TMRs just to get her limit burst. And then she also needs for some support units as well, like Realm or Yoshi, to actually buff her limit burst damage on top
or
of
Rain,
that.
Rain is a unit that also can do
I
that.
would say that if you aren't a whale or at least a veteran who is at least a dolphin, just don't even worry about capping DV. It's incredibly difficult to do.
I mean, I don't even worry about capping DV, just saying.
I'm only trying to cap this round because I have the right units and because it's Final Fantasy VI Last Hurrah, so...
I mean, I feel like the whole point of DV is supposed to be an end game where only the top 1% of 1% whales chase. So it's just for the longest time, right? That the globe, and this is, I guess, me speaking from the beginning of DV, right? DV 1 through like 5, I'd imagine. Global power creep was way ahead of whatever DV was at. So a lot of people were getting, top 5,000, even though technically they don't spend as much as the other top 1% whales. But I think now we're getting to a point like where the top 1% whales are the only ones capping DV. So it's just
not quite.
Anyway,
We're gonna
says
get
the top
there,
1% whale. Says the top 1% whale.
No,
I saw another question from a while back because I don't want to spend too much time on any individual one. Somebody was asking which 5-star units we have the most copies of and what we'd like to see done with them if they don't get NVAs.
Oh,
for me, I think it's Bosch and Ayaka. I have like 14 copies of each of them or something like that. I just cannot stop pulling them. if they don't get NVAs, Ayaka is really hard to fix, I think, because she needs new skills very badly. Like they could give her Hexacast White Magic so that she could re-raise like the entire party every turn, and she would not be great.
Yeah, because there are units that already can do that, so it wouldn't be unique.
Bosch, again, I think he needs new skills. Like they could give him latents and put some kind of ridiculous effect on his LB or something, I guess.
I don't know. I think Bosch could get like a fuck ton of bulk and 80% breaks, and I think he'd be good.
Well, without an NVA,
I mean, his JP latents were really
without
good.
an NVA, it's going to be really difficult for him to be tanky.
Yeah.
But I mean, what they could do with Bash is like gear his base form towards maybe physical damage tanking, and maybe his base shift form for magic damage tanking.
Well,
that could work.
If they don't give him an NVA, that was the question.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like, I mean, it's a difficult question, right? Because like, I don't know what to answer really. Like, if the units don't get an NVA, I'm just expecting them to be, worthless. Although there's this interesting thing they've been doing in JP where they have been buffing STMRs. So I think that's a nice thing. That's a nice
now
trend.
You have to farm pogs and everything for your STMR buffs, and it's a lot of farming.
The question was actually meant if they don't have an NVA in JP already. So, like, what do we want from their NVAs?
Oh, shit. I want to do this one because I have like 25 Robertas. Is that right? 25. So I have 4 STMRs, and then I have 4. No, so I only have 20. 20
only.
Robertas. Yeah, I only have 20
only.
Robertas. Only. And I really want Roberta to be a super strong jump finisher. That's what I want.
I want Roberta to have a jump skill that lasts more turns the lower her EX level is. So you have to get her to EX +3 or she spends like 15 turns in the air.
But okay, this is what I see. So Roberta is one of my favorite units because I really think her design is one of my favorite GL exclusive units, or she's not really GL exclusive, I guess. But and I would really like her to have like a base form chainer or a chainer in base form, just like simple physical chainer, and then being a jump finisher in Brave Shift. That's what I would really like.
So you're saying that you want her to have quick hit frames in her base form, and
All right.
and pile driver in her Brave Shift.
Gumi Spy, if you're listening, take Muspel's word and just take it away.
Gumi Spy, if you're listening, just don't listen to Muspel at all, okay?
I would really like, and it would be really cool if she could still retain some type of interaction with her dragon as well. But sorry, I am now, simping over a unit. I shouldn't be doing that. Anyone else want to jump in?
I mean, Roberta's a unit you can simp for.
Tag
She's
chainer
pretty
with
cool.
Ignitus.
Hey, let our
point.
podcast that talk, Barrows.
Okay, so
Let Hazard talk, please.
Hazard, what's your idea for fixing Mercenary Ramza? Because he still has passive cover, and they can't get rid of that.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I think, well, it's been a few months, but tanks, you really need that passive. You need passive. What's the thing? Passive draw. Passive draw. His stats are too low across the board.
Well, that can be fixed with an NVA.
Yeah. But I don't know. With Mercenary Ramza, I think what he really, really needs is a CG.
I don't think we have time to talk about that, so let's move on to the next thing.
No, but it's unfair to ask about tanks because I think every tank in the game could just get fixed by getting bulkier as an NVA. Really,
not all of them.
Chapter 4 Ramza tomato.
Some of them really do need new skills to be relevant. Like if you give Bosch NV stats, he's still not great.
Yeah, I mean he would tank, but yeah, I get it.
He would just be a much worse Charlotte, and Charlotte is already a much worse phasey.
Yeah.
Somebody has a question about how tag units work. It's very simple. They chain with themselves.
You know how
Really?
who was the unit that got me advertised as chaining with themselves again on one of the update videos?
So more specifically, a tag skill is a skill that if it hits twice in a row, it doesn't break the chain. That's all there is to it. They can chain with other units. Their other skills will still break chains. It's just the tag skill cannot break a chain.
I mean, it can still technically break a chain if it hits, twice within another. Oh no, because it's chaining with itself.
That's the entire thing.
It basically works exactly how you'd expect. Because I mean, proof that it won't even somehow break with itself if it hits twice in a row is on a fight with multiple enemies, there's a trick with it. I think it's only on one 5-star currently. There's a unit with a cooldown that gives cover to an enemy, and if you give that to an enemy in a fight with multiple things and then use an AoE tag skill.
There's a question here about how they work with chaining families. Like, if you use AoE, it's 8 hits. If you triple cast it, it's 24 hits. You don't get there's no, like, phantom chaining partner adding extra hits. It's just that the unit chains without needing a partner. But you don't get extra hits. There's nothing else to it. It's just the chain doesn't break.
So let me get this straight. They've made chains that chain with your chains, but they can't actually fix chaining in the first place, right? They have not fixed that?
Well, there's something else that's important, Hazard. All of these are from duo units.
Oh, gosh. I'm so glad I quit this game. Holy crap.
But hey, jokes aside, it does make sense for
I am not joking. I'm not joking.
It does.
Duo units are the worst idea they've ever had, and they have doubled down, pun intended, on this stupid idea. They keep doing it. Man, I'm so glad.
But hey, you get something like the Edward and Alfonso Eric, a duo unit. I'm up for that.
Me too. But I mean, it's one thing I like about it, just as a prospect. I mean, I don't know yet exactly how the JP meta looks like, but one thing that I really like about it is that since this is a unit that chains with itself and still does very strong damage, you can actually bring a lot more finishers, or at least one more finisher. You can switch up your team comps a bit, and that's pretty cool. You don't have to like die by the 2 chainers slave meta.
Wait, so it does mean you can go more towards, you can start bringing finishers, right? Or more finishers.
Yeah, exactly. Like 1 chainer, 1 chainer, 2 finishers, etc.
Oh.
Things get very finisher heavy.
Here's a good question. Is there a way for spirit-based damage dealers to be viable without the tankiness of Xuan Wu? No. Well, if you make sure that they have like god-awful base spirit and ridiculous modifiers, then I guess you could do it, because then they wouldn't be very tanky and they would still deal competitive damage. But really, no.
They really have to go to ridiculous modifiers to actually make them deal relevant damage without being tanky.
Yeah, they would have to have like 6-star level base spirit, and maybe even lower, and then their modifiers would have to be like somewhere in the hundreds, probably even higher. Because I
was thinking more 200-300s. You have to compensate for the much lower spirit.
But hey, Dream, I have a request for you. Can't you calculate Yoshi's damage if he had 400% true dual hand spirit?
Technically.
Because that would be really cool to know. Because like then I'm going to be simping for every true dual hand spirit SDMR in the game.
New rule, Barrows is not allowed to use that word anymore.
I mean, spoilers, it's not going to be that high.
I mean, his mods are decent.
Remember last week when Barrow said that Cloud does more damage than Tifa?
And then it turned out to be true, you mean?
Only if you ignore Tifa's gearing.
No, that's not at all what we.
No, we saw that Cloud like beats Tifa by like 3% when you ignore the fact that as a true dual wield unit, Tifa can get more killers typically.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was not the question. The question was not is Tifa more viable than Cloud, because that's a very situational question that's impossible to answer. The thing was, can Cloud burst harder? The answer was yes, he can, and that's all.
No, he can't, because Tifa gets more killers and does more damage.
All right, let's move on to a slightly more interesting topic.
I've had many situations where
the situation.
I am so sorry I brought this up again. I am so sorry.
We're going to lock Maspel and Barrows in a separate chat, and we're going to keep them there until they sort out the differences, or they do something else. I don't care.
Well,
no, here's another good question that we can do to talk about anything other than Tifa versus Cloud. Thoughts on the revamp to Magic that they're doing in JP? So, just for background, in JP they've recently started like revisiting Green Magic and Black Magic, and I'm not sure if they're going to do White Magic or not, but they took a lot of these older spells and made them better. The Black Magic revisit didn't really do much. It gave a few of the skills, I think, Chaos Wave frames or something, and it increased the modifiers, but they still suck.
Yeah, I think some had Mystic Cross, some had Bolting Strength. And yeah, I think the Green Magic revamp was really good. The Black Magic revamp made the mods kind of too low for any of them to be relevant without like unique enhanced versions.
Yeah, the Black Magic revamp is really only relevant for like support chaining.
Which is still nice.
I mean, especially since you can get the Aga spells quite easy on any unit. So it's kind of like a cheap and simple way of securing support chains. And Aga, like Firaga, right? Those are super easy to get.
Wake up, Hazard! Wake up! Wake up!
And then there's also a question about the current JP scene being bare bones kits like Ignatio's NVA. I actually want to talk about a specific aspect of Ignatio's kit, which is a new mechanic that they made in JP, which is there's some units that have their basic attack replaced by an ability. So like if you just have them do a normal attack, then they don't do a normal attack, they do something special. And what this means is that counters will also do that.
Huh. Interesting.
So like there's a unit whose basic attack is replaced with like a Kiraja tier heal. So if you put Black Belt on them or something, they'll heal you when they counter.
Huh.
I think
Very
that's a really
interesting.
cool mechanic. I really like that, and I wonder where they're going to go with it, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with that.
See, at least that mechanic is more cool than tag chaining.
I think this is one of the very few cases where they come up with something cool and interesting in a while. I don't know how much you can do with it, though. Like, the healing is neat. Damage-based counters are never going to really be a thing, because they don't chain, unless they give them absolutely ridiculous modifiers. I guess, like, they could do something with chaining counterattacks, but I don't see that being very workable, just because then you would need multiple units to get attacked, probably more than once, and it's not necessarily very satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, yes, a damage skill is going to be really hard to slot in. But I think there's a lot of other cool stuff you could do with it, which is what I'm kind of looking forward to.
I also think it's not necessarily new design space. Like, we've seen lots of units in the past that have had ability counters that did these kinds of things. This is really just changing it so that you can take a unit that has this basic attack replacement and gear them to do it as a counter. But it's not something they couldn't have done before by just making it a counter in the first place.
Yeah, true, but you can also do some other shenanigans, like, attack twice, equipment, berserker, stuff like that, where you can do something auto every turn in one way or another. But it's cool. I mean, it's at least something else. And it kind of does turn the game more into an auto clicker, because now when you just tap the unit, it will do a powerful attack, which is nice.
Okay. Have a story farming team with like an AoE basic attack and the berserk attack, and then you don't even need to press auto.
Oof, dream.
Alright.
That is the dream, yes.
Barrows, that was a really bad
Yes, I
joke.
am the me.
You
Here's
should be
another
ashamed.
Here's another question. Would trials like the original Ion still be fun in the Envy era where units run out of Magnus and Grandis abilities? And I'm assuming we mean like Ion in the sense that they take like 50 fucking turns.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be the latest batch of trials in JP?
Yeah,
Like
I
there's
even
an
think that
easier
Demon
version,
Chim-
and then there's a super hard version with a ridiculous turn count that you can only clear with very specific whale out units.
It is
Yeah.
kind of like that. I think the difference is that those trials, from what I've seen, aren't necessarily like as threatening in terms of killing your party as Igon was on release.
Oh yeah, and Unim made a very good point. The new Bahamut Esper fight is one good example. Like there's a easier way to clear it in 4. If you don't attack, you get Bahamut for free in 4 turns. But if you want the emblem for the mission, you have to go through a soul slot, which takes a ridiculous amount of turns, like a few hundred turns.
I mean, it's purely a prestige thing, and it's probably more for like later power
Yes,
creep.
a bit like Telfu
So
Sandis,
I don't know
isn't
if that's a great example because there's no like actual.
I'd rather
It's like
say-
Telfu Sandis,
and
right?
it's permanent. So
I mean, you don't have to look further than like Demon Chimera, because I think that when Demon Chimera comes out, a lot of people that don't have like Physalis or the meta unit for its arrival are gonna be able to clear it in it's gonna be a lot of turns, and it's gonna take a lot of time.
I don't know what you mean by no rewards. You get an X potion if you beat him and use an item.
yeah, I mean the really like most of the tanky JP trials are still going to be, I think, between like 10 and 25 turns, like when you're actually doing them right. Like the really big turn counts for Demon Chimera and stuff that we saw on the release day were like when using physical damage dealers and stuff. So if you do it correctly, then like it's not going to be that extreme for most
You mean
of them.
do it correctly by
But yeah,
putting
it's still
Physalis.
it's or even just using like mages, but like I think it's still going to have like Grandis's running out like in the second half of fights, but it's not going to be like most of the fighters with none or anything like that.
But it is true. I mean, like, the units are gonna feel a lot less powerful as the fight drags on, which is kind of... I don't know if that's true for the many upcoming units in JP, but it's definitely true for our units so far. Because Grandis
some of them.
Okay, because like right now, Grandis is really like the thing that makes the unit powerful. But if Grandis instead was a really powerful thing that has nothing to do with the unit's DPT, then that would be a different thing or a different story.
Do people really want 8-hour trials though?
I mean, 8 hours? Who said anything about 8 hours?
No.
I mean,
But-
Bahamut.
That's for like the ridiculous Bahamut
I mean,
hookers and stuff.
original, like when Aigayon came out, if you had the units for him, like if you had, let's say, Fraevia or Orlando, it was like anything from like 30 to 3 hours, right? 30 minutes to 3 hours. And
If you
3
had
hours,
Freya, it was more like 5 minutes.
no. Or, I mean, I don't know, maybe for you, but I had Fraevia that was quite decked out, and I think fight still took me like 30, 40 minutes or something. Which I think
Maybe
is,
it was, yeah.
that was
Maybe
just
it was
bad, I
half
guess.
an hour.
I had Emperor and Rem, and I tried both, and I eventually beat it with Rem in 4.5 hours.
I have a
like,
confession to make.
Gee.
Yeah.
I had a 2B, and I did it in 2 seconds.
Oh my god, you
Oh, with that
cheating-
cheat?
I'm gonna report you to Gumi. But I actually like an hour-long trial. Like, and I could see more of those. Like, not every trial, but to have some of them have a bit of time commitment and kind of, yeah, I've enjoyed it before. I mean, the non-GL Marlboro, that was also a pretty long trial. Like, maybe not an hour, but that took maybe 20, 30 minutes at least to clear.
Yeah, I would say like maybe 15 to 30 is more of like the sweet spot, because like if it's just getting too like repetitive cycles, that gets really dull. But otherwise,
Yeah, it does need to switch it up. Like, it can't be the same
the-
thing.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not also always just about time, but like turn counts as well. So yeah, like I think that like 10 to 20, that's a good spot for trials.
I mean, tell
There
that
was
to
another
JP.
question a while back about the shield buffs in JP.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, JP has been going on a speed where they're trying to make like older equipment more relevant, isn't it?
But I really
Yeah.
like that. I think that's great.
I
That's
like it.
fantastic.
When I saw the shield buffs, I thought they were a good idea. I hadn't ever really thought about it before, but I do think there's a case to be made that shields weren't as important as they should be, considering that they're like the signature piece of equipment for tanks. And for those who aren't aware, they basically buffed the flat defense and spirit on a bunch of shields by quite a bit. I think they now have like the top ones have what, like 180, 190 spirit or defense, right?
Yeah, basically like the top rarity shields got like 100 to their primary stat, 50 to their secondary, being defense or spirit, and then like that increased by 5 or 10 for each like lower
Yeah,
rarity.
I think the fact that tanks don't have like TDH or I don't know, you want to call it true sword and board, means that the flat stats on shields, not only have they been lower than the flat stats on weapons, but they also don't scale as well with other gear. So, like, a shield with 110 defense didn't feel like a meaningful upgrade over one with 60. So cranking up the stats on shields is probably the right move. But I also don't know that this is, like, the highest priority for things that I wanted them to redesign in terms of gear.
You're waiting for the double shield meta.
I hate that people ask for that. It's the dumbest thing.
But I
admit it,
think,
Maspel, you are waiting for it, isn't it?
But Muscle, is it as dumb as an evade cover tank?
No, it isn't.
Okay,
But,
thank you. So we've
the
already
thing
seen
is,
worse.
I like this trend though. I really like this trend where they're upgrading old STMRs and just old gear in general to make the game feel more fresh. It's the magic upgrades, the STMR upgrades, the shield upgrades. I like that. It's kind of really, and especially as a veteran player, you can look forward to getting some really nice stuff. Oh, Genji Glow upgrade? Yeah, exactly. So
No, but the thing is, Barros, it seems like they may have stopped giving out the upgrades for free. Because based on the latest Final Fantasy 15 banner, where they revamped a whole bunch of mechanics, now you can upgrade CG Noctis's SMR sword to a ridiculous level. But you have to farm the heck out of pogs and everything just to get the upgrade.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's an okay
I think
trade-off.
Drag said it cost 10,000 pogs.
Yeah, but they do get more
I mean,
pogs.
the fights for farming the pogs
No, but like you
have
don't
also
get that many
changed.
for free.
And like
Or
it's
like you still
it's
have to
permanent
farm quite a
chronicle
significant
content
amount.
now.
I mean,
It's permanent content, and also like I'm pretty sure the amount from the event was enough to get like one away from the highest level, and then you just have to farm for that max.
I mean, I'm not
rarity
at
one.
all afraid for, really strong stuff being locked behind some type of effort required. I'm not afraid of that. I welcome that.
But I
I
mean,
mean,
it depends,
as long
like,
as it's not
what your
like farming for 3 months, right? But like, it's not farming for 3 months. Also,
I
might as
guess
well
it
just
depends
leave
what your
Craig out.
threshold
Doesn't
is.
matter.
Because like right now, every single change that JP does is just to make things even more grindy. Like it just wants you to keep farming non-stop, and it's getting a bit tiring of just having to farm for everything.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. Like, there is a lot more farming going on, but I mean, it's hard for me to say. I'm not in the JP meta yet, so I don't know how it is. But so far, I still think it's fine. I'm not the completionist, right? I'm not the person that grinds every Pog event to get like 500 Pogs so I can upgrade all the NVAs and stuff. I think we're at the okay level right now. I mean,
Absolute
like, yeah.
silence.
You guys missed it, but I got a phone call, so I turned to take a step out. I muted my computer. I dragged my foot on one of the cords, threw my entire laptop and everything off the desk onto the floor with a huge crash. So you'll hear it on Audacity, but you won't hear it.
Oh no!
Oh boy.
Everything okay there,
It still works. Did you just
Oh,
call me
boy.
Baros?
No.
Yeah,
Ouch,
you know
that's
what?
insulting.
I think I'm done here.
Holy shit. Wow. Okay, that's an insult. I thought, oh my god. Wow. Like, you can't see
thought
it,
it-
but I'm crying right now. I would share my
I
video
thought you would think
if
it's
I
an honor,
didn't want to scare you
Barrows,
all
to
with
actually
my
be
hideous
called the
visage.
podcast dad. I thought you would want to be called the podcast dad.
No, I want to be the podcast daddy.
Okay,
All right,
moving on.
Yeah, next question. Thoughts on whether we'll get the tower event? I highly doubt it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Everyone
not.
knows that cool things don't make it to global.
I mean, we may not get a tower, but they will.
Maybe they'll do, because we got one run of boss rush, so I'm thinking we might get the one run of tower that's associated with NVA
Oh,
Finra
true.
Edel, because it gives stuff for her. So, and that would be like probably end of January or something. So maybe, but probably only once.
But they will find some way to give us NVA Adele anyway. So, and look, have you seen the Esper units NVA? They actually finally took their cool designs and they actually gave it to them in the Brave Shift forms. Finally.
Justice.
So yeah, do we have any more questions? Because we're also, like, this episode is running long. We're already at like an hour and 10 minutes. So shit. We should be, like, closing up the bag, but there's so much activity in the chat still and questions being asked.
I only see one more question that I think we missed, which is, are we behind on QL on quality of life updates from JP? So we want to cover that one before we finish up.
Oh, that one is sweet. Although someone else should do it than me, because I don't know the exact details behind it. I just know what they are, but not.
I don't
exactly
think
what
we
they
are behind. There's a few features that we skipped, like the story digest, but in terms of the quality of life stuff, I don't think we're behind.
I think there's a couple that are kind of like due now, like the damage number colors, and I think killer filtering is supposed to be very close, which I'm very exciting. And then there's like the bank inventory as well.
Did you guys get
there's
the commas in the damage?
Comments
Chances
in the
are they're holding
damage.
The
back.
commas. So the damage
yeah.
shows up.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, we got
yeah.
commas. We
Great.
have
That
commas.
was a nice one.
It's okay.
Hazard, did you know that in JP they added a way to fuse all your 3-star and 4-star units at once?
Nice.
I think it's not added yet, but they
coming.
said it was coming. One other thing they also have really nice is like a damage report at the end of battles that shows like what percentage of or how much of your damage each of your
Yeah,
units
I saw
did.
a couple of
So that's
screenshots from that. That's really cool. You can take, like, you can do your DV boss, and then afterwards you see just exactly how many millions your different units did and kind of where you can tweak. I look forward to that.
Yeah, you need like damage logs in general for it, but that's an upgrade for sure.
It'd be really cool to get like a full log of abilities as well that the boss does. You can just tap the ability and read up what it does instead of having to rely on a data mine, stuff like that. That would still enable you to do like a blind clear, because you do want to see the ability in action to understand what it is. But yeah,
I think a more detailed ability log, or battle log, might have been one of the other things that was upcoming as well, but not.
aren't we aren't we late, Dream, if you know, with the whole new stat display thing? Because I think that's maybe a bit late.
What do you mean by
Yeah.
that?
I think that might be as well, because JP got an update. I mean, I think our more detailed stat window has already diverged a bit from JP, but yeah, I think they've got a newer upgrade that we might see in some form. But it
I mean,
might
do
be
we
a bit
need the
different.
JP's one? I'm looking at the screenshot that someone posted in the chat, and it looks quite similar to what we have.
No, that's the one. I mean, Demos posted it now, so that's kind of
Okay,
like
yeah.
you get like the main stats for the type. There's like 3 or 4 types you can choose, and you get the main stats for that type. So it's kind of nice.
Interesting.
So that's one I would like to see. I mean, our detail view is still good. Like we do get we get all the relevant information, but it would be nice to like not have to click details all the time and click that box away because you want to go back to normal. Oh God, it gets still a bit clunky when it comes to the experience.
Quality of life updates are best updates. Give us more, give them faster.
I mean, we should be seeing a bunch of new updates. Well, quality of life upgrades after the New Year's break, right?
Oh, let's see.
Hopefully.
One thing I'm hoping for after the New Year's is that soon it's going to be February 14th. And you all know what's happening on February 14th, right?
The one where Barros gets disappointed because Big Ignacio doesn't get anything.
You mean Big Hard because Big Ignacio is just Ignacio.
They're going to give Maria an NVA. You know that, right? Because she was the first Valentine's unit.
Yeah, that could be it, I guess.
And then Big Heart will get nothing.
I would really like Big Hard to get something. I would give him something. 100%.
No, obviously it's going to be the NVA for...
But
What?
yes,
Whoa.
Cho NBA during Chinese New Year. That would be the dream. Gami, you will make my day if you do that, okay? Just seriously, give me a freaking Chow NVA.
Give
I will
us
pull on the
a
banner
Chow
for it.
NVA, and then in the NVA, he either has like a small puppy following him around, or he has a kid riding on his back. Or both.
No. No, his brave shift is him turning into a young girl.
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Nope.
And we're
Barros!
gonna end the podcast here before Barros gets to say anything else horrible. That might be the worst thing he's ever said in his entire life.
It is, really? Because I've said some pretty bad shit.
You
Like, are you
just
sure?
recommended
I missed
taking
it.
away the one thing that makes Chow amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, we should probably wrap it up because this is a long ass episode and it was a lot of fun. Actually, we said this last time as well. I think we should do more of these live episodes. No? Okay, never mind then. We should never do more live episodes, I guess.
It is now a dead episode.
It's now a dead episode. Okay, people need to stop
And you
fucking
killed it.
posting Nina gifs in the chat, okay? Because I'm already sad.
It was literally just cut.
Yeah.
Wait, never mind.
Oh
There's
my
more.
god, that one is actually terrible.
I
My
don't know anything
eyes.
about it. I don't know.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I think
we're done here. Like, this is the outro. Thank you, everyone, for joining this live episode. It was a lot of fun to have you here. A lot of you joined. Super fun. I hope this episode is going to be as fun listening to offline. And like, if you don't think it's fun listening to offline, then feel free to come into our Discord, join our community, and have fun with us next time. Yeah, Lemon says, for those who didn't join, fuck you. I wouldn't use as strong words, but I do think less of you for not joining. I do.
And hopefully Barros hasn't traumatized you and we will see you again. Alright?
Probably not.
Bye,
Cue the
everybody.
chocobo. Bye, Hazard, by the way. Thank you for joining.
Thanks
no
for
problem.
joining.
I
And he
wanted
goes
to
out
join.
for another vape.
Well, I just wanted to
And he'll
join
never come back.
to get. I just wanted
This
to
is
join
the
to get
best
interrupted by
experience.
Cotton over and over and over again. That's why.
Oh my god, this is great. This was
I'm
great.
not even gonna tell you my real reason because it's way better to end on that note. See you guys later.
Bye, everyone, and thank you so much.